What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Hope Shot. Hope you guys had a great weekend. It's been busy. It's my son's birthday this weekend. We had festivities. We had a friends of Palooza, okay, up in here. Okay, and it was great. Sometimes we forget, going through these the mundanes of life, we forget to want to hang out with our people. We forget to do self-care. Self-care is connecting with our friends, connecting with family. It's very important that we do these things to help feed our soul. Because if not, man, what are we doing out here, man? We're gonna burn out. We're gonna freaking, have no connection. Isolate. It's easy to get back into our own tendencies of isolation. Not hanging out with our peoples. And that's what we did this weekend. We did a little friends of Palooza at my house with food, friends, just having a good time, cutting it up. And then today we did my son's birthday. So it's great. It's a great weekend for me, man. I'll tell you right now. But Caesar, hey Caesar. He's not connected.
Hello.
Hi, Caesar.
I'm trying to figure out how to plug the computer. And no, she's
Where, I was like, what's going on right now? Is there an earthquake in Florida?
I just realized that this thing's about to die.
There you go.
Oh gosh, I was like, who's gonna do the freaking clarity statement if you
I'm
don't
gonna
do it, bro?
Statement, man. I'm just discombobulated right now. So anyway, so this is the Hope Shot Clarity Statement. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery, spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common. Recovery is a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. And thank you for being a part of our Hope Shot family.
Appreciate you, Caesar. I'm glad there was no earthquake at your house.
It might be. You don't know. You don't know me.
I don't. I feel like I do, but sometimes I don't know. It's Sunday, so who knows? If you guys just jumping on, say what's up. Let us know you're here. Comment, man. Let us know where you're from. If you're celebrating anything today, this weekend, this week, you got any cool things happening? Any anniversaries? Like, throw it out there. We got our special guest, Mary Beth, in the house, and we just did. Me and Mary did a podcast this past week, and a little backstory on Mary. I wish I had the video, but I posted a video I stole from TikTok, and I posted on our page because I thought it was just moving, and it was a video of her coming back from prison, and her daughter just freaking out. The emotion behind it was just unreal, and it's just that's the things, man. We get back from our families, we get our give back to our families and be present. So, we did a podcast the other day, and actually she reached out to me because of that video. She's seen it. She's like, hey, I'm that person in the video. And it was posted 2 years ago or a year ago or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she reached out to me. She's like, hey, I'm that person. So I was like, oh, cool. You want to do a podcast? She's like, yeah, let's do this. And I was like, cool.
Yeah, that's my video. You hijacked.
Well, I kind of borrowed it, it's still there. It's
cool.
Yeah, it's like I borrowed sugar from my neighbor. It's cool. But yeah, we did a podcast, and it's going to be coming out very soon. So if you guys are not on our audio podcast platforms, you can find us anywhere. The Hope Shot Recovery Podcast on all streaming platforms for audio. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever. And you're going to find, that's the only way you're going to find this podcast. So make sure you guys go on there and subscribe and follow and all that good stuff. We're going to have some, I got a lot of exclusives coming out soon. Did that sound as cool as I think it did? No? Damn it. Never mind. It's not that exclusive, I guess.
You got to get your voice about 3 octaves deeper.
I can't. This is all I got. I'm working on it, man. I sit in this room and I practice day in and day out.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. But it sounds really cool that if I did, it would never. All right, so let's see. We got Rachel. Happy Sunday to you. Thank you for sharing. And I don't know if I said that. Please share this, guys. I know this topic is going to definitely hit on some all cylinders tonight. You know, we got a powerhouse tonight, and we definitely need to get it shared out there. And it takes y'all to get it out there. We got Mike Miller. Good evening to you. We got Kevin Montgomery back in Boston, man. Prayers for you, buddy. And we got Rick. Good to see you. Yeehaw, Arkansas is here. Love. Oh man. We got Crystal, Mary Beth. Hey, she got a fan club. Just brought all her peeps. We got Kelly from Caesar's other room, and
commenting from the other room.
We got Megan. What's up, Megan? Good to see you. We got Tony, Tanya. I'm sorry. Happy Sunday, fun day, beautiful people. You as well. We got Landon. What's up, guys? It's been a rough few days. Lost my dad Thursday. Oof, I'm so sorry to hear that, man. Prayers to you, buddy, for all that you're going through right now. His liver gave out from years of alcohol abuse. He was my best friend and my biggest supporter in my sobriety. Please pray for my mother. They have been together for 46 years. Definitely put her in our prayers, buddy.
Yeah.
4 months clean. That's what's up right there. We get through shit, you know? Clean. We got Herbie. So cool, y'all. Good to see you, Herbie. And we got Megan, Spring Hill, Florida, celebrated 5 months last week. Let's go. We got Patterson. I thought you're from Pennsylvania. Nope, but could be. I'm probably there right now if somebody's watching, you know. We got Crystal, great video, thank you. And we have her video, not me. I'm taking
it's not all about you, Justin.
Whatever.
See, he just stole it again.
I did it again. There I am. I'm sorry. I can't help it.
And then the compliment.
Dang.
I've been in this closet for like 3 years, you know, trying to practice this damn deep voice. That's all I got, you know. Let's see. We have Brent from Fergus Falls, Minnesota here. I love being able to hit the lives. Thanks for being here, man. And we got Rachel says, truly sorry for your loss and pain. I will recover you and your family in prayer one step at a time. We got Tanya says, sober since 10/5/21 from Ohio, just moved into my own apartment. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's peaceful. And I'm beyond grateful for my sobriety. Good. That's the shit right there. I love hearing all that. I love good news. Greg says, hey, what's up, you guys? Thank you all for being such a huge part of my recovery. Picked up a year, January 18th. Congratulations to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got Dave Rave, something like that. The E is not there, but Dave Rave. 2 months sober tomorrow. Congratulations to you tomorrow. We don't do no fronts around here. No, I'm just kidding. Nope. Let's see. We got Ben. What's up, Ben? We have Dave Rave is from Nova Scotia, Canada. Thanks for being here. We got Shannon. Good to see you. We got, let's see who else. We got Steve. What's up, Steve? Big Steve.
Big Steve.
A few more people.
What
we got
up,
John.
Steve? Without saying that.
We got John. So 3 months sober. Congratulations to you. We got Sarah from Ireland. Good. Thanks for being here. It's early too, I think, right? I think it's early there. Yeah.
I don't know how to do that kind of math.
Yeah. My brain hurts now. Ben says a year this Wednesday. Congratulations this Wednesday to you. No fronts again. We got Wendy, 11 months next week. Let's go next week. We got some celebrations coming up on the Hope Shot too. Caesar with the throwback bucks.
Hey, you know, if he's going to shout it out, I'm going to put it up there.
I see. You have control like that. You have the power. All right. So tonight and tonight only. No, nothing yet.
It's all right.
It's doing it. Okay.
It's more unsolved mysteries.
Murder, She Wrote, right? Now. All right. Tonight's topic, guys, we're going to do saying yes to life, you know, and I think Nate probably has some good perspective on this and I'm going to let him go first because
Go ahead.
he says yes to life a lot.
He does.
And I like when he says yes because that means I don't get no's, if you know what I mean.
Now we can say no to Justin and yes to
You
life.
shut your mouth.
Sometimes saying no to Justin is saying yes to life. Welcome everybody. Grateful to be a part of tonight. Yeah, this actually has been in my gratitude, and when I at the end of my gratitude, all of us share it on the screen. It says there's at the end there's a focus, and usually a lot of the times out of the week my focus is going to be say yes to life, and in parentheses I'll put my higher power and go with the flow, right? And yeah, it's a heck of a mantra, and you know, it sounds simple and it sounds, you know, cliche and maybe like a bumper sticker, but think of the if you could just like wrap your head around the concept, because when you're saying yes to life, you're actually surrendering to whatever external circumstances come in front of you, right? In life and all its happenings, however it looks, however it comes dressed up, tragedy, joy, grief, sorrow, celebration, whatever it is, you know, challenges, fears, you know, all these things that we walk through on a daily basis. Like, am I surrendering to, you know, the flow of life and not trying to control it simultaneously? Because I promise you, I said no to life for a very long time. And then what does that look like? You know, I got so used to settling for less, right? And just reacting to whatever life put in front of me and blaming, really, you know, not taking responsibility for my own actions, and kind of just masking and, you know, authenticating and creating artificial feelings by whatever substances I put in my body. So I didn't have to deal with what life was throwing at me. And I didn't have to walk through life, you know, afraid or insecure. I put, you know, substance in my body so I could, you know, feel a part of, so I could deal with, you know, the subsequent guilt and shame that comes from years of, you know, very intense substance use, you know. And so, yeah, I mean, I get so, it's such in a pattern of running, you know, of running. I'm a runner. I don't face things, and that's kind of what like perpetuated, you know, the cycle of addiction for me for so many years, right? You know, I would do these horrible and tragic things while under the influence and hurt those that were closest to me, and then I would mask the shame and guilt by more substance use, thus hurting them again and again, and the cycle just repeating itself over and over until, you know, I was physically removed from society quite a few times for a lot of years. So, yeah, it's you know, you get into early recovery, and everybody's talking about, you know, you need to get out of your own way and let go and let God, and you know, and these seem like some pretty lofty ideals when I first come in here. I don't know what the hell that means, you know, and to be completely honest, it's really terrifying, because I'm used to, you know, just holding on with both hands as tight as I can to everything that I think I need to change or control, and I want to, you know, I want to make it a certain way. I want to fight to the death, you know, to get this right. And I come into recovery and they say you need to let go, right? You need to let go and trust and have faith. And how does that happen? You know, especially for a guy like me that's been let down and let others down perpetually for 20 plus years. You know, I've suffered abuse in prison. I've suffered, you know, deceit and lies and manipulation on the street. And now you're throwing me into these group of strangers and telling me to trust and have faith and let go in something I can't even see. It's a really hard thing to sell somebody. So why did I buy it, right? Because I had just the right amount of desperation and pain, and I was just pathetic enough, and, you know, had no options left, to where I really had no choice but to surrender to this process, right? I had nothing left, I had no other ideas, right? So, but in that space of like just utter desperation and guilt and shame and insecurities and fears and all these things that I carried with me, for the first time in my life, I took a suggestion and I trusted. I trusted the group, and in that, things started to happen. And how did I get faith? Because I started to see things work out in my life, right? I started to see that I could, walk through my mom's death without getting loaded, right? I started to see that I could walk through finding out that my daughter's was adopted when I was still in treatment, and they didn't even tell me to have an opportunity to show up. I could walk through that and keep my head high and stay the course, right? I could walk through these things. They could let me out of treatment. I could live in a house for the first time by myself. And I walked through that fear. And through walking through these things sober, it builds faith, because now I have evidence that something is working in my life. What is this something? Is it me trying to wrest satisfaction, like it says in some of our literature, from life? Or is it me like just trusting the process? Because what I've discovered is that when I focus on my higher power and helping others, things just organically unfold for me exactly as they should. But for a guy like me, it's like so difficult to believe in that. And I promise you, like, that was one of the biggest transitions I've had in my recovery, to understand that in order for me to be well, I have to focus on my higher power, and I have to focus on helping others. I can't really think about me, right? It's so incongruous, man. You're like, wait a minute. I thought I had the solution, right? I thought I had to figure it out. And it's actually the exact opposite. The solution for me has been to build this relationship with who I believe in, raise my hand when people ask for help, and show up consistently with integrity and honesty, and be authentic and be real and not wear a mask. And, it wasn't an easy transition. It hasn't been an easy process, but I promise you this: the more I let go and the more I focus on my relationship with my higher power, the easier everything externally in my life gets, right? The easier I'm able to just, deal with adversity. The perfect example is, in my relationship with others. I remember going to my sponsor a lot, and going to God and being like, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to make this situation better? How do I have to change? And the only change that I had to make was I had to build a closer connection with my higher power. I had to get busier in my service work. I had to get deeper in my meditation, reading, gratitude, inventory. I had to go through the 12 steps again. And in that process, when I'm building this relationship with who I believe in, it reflects on every other relationship in my life, right? And then what happens is I'm finally okay with me. I don't need you to define or be a part of my happiness. I am whole as an individual, right? And in that wholeness, now I can come to you. I can come to the table without any expectations, or without needing you to provide me with anything. And in that space, I can be an unconditional, complimentary, give and take relationships, and do I get it perfect? Not really. But yeah, in that space, it's easy to say yes to life. And I discover whenever I'm saying no to life, it always goes back to some sort of fear, insecurity. There's a disconnection. And and I don't mean saying yes to life, just willy-nilly, do whatever you want whenever you want. I'm just saying that whenever something faces you, you understand that it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Everything that I've been through, everything that I've encountered, every experience, every relationship, every adversity, it is a chance for me to get closer to my God, my truth, my purpose. And it's not against me. It is for me. And once that I had that shift in perspective, I'm able to really walk through anything because I know there is some greater purpose, even though I may not be able to see it at that particular time. There is some reason that this is coming to me. This has been presented. And so it's up to me on a daily basis to just stay really busy, nurturing this relationship with my higher power, staying busy with the work, staying busy in the service. And then I just I can just go with the flow, man. Whatever happens, I'm a pretty steady individual. I lived in a environment of chaos for a very long time where I had constant fight or flight. I had to always be on my toes. And it was funny. I was having lunch with a friend on Friday, and he's like, Nate, he says, when you share, like, you have this appreciation, this a different perspective on I can hear it in your message and how you talk and just your demeanor. And I'm like, well, yeah, just imagine, being incarcerated for almost 15 years. You begin to appreciate every minute detail, the things that everybody else take for granted. I look at as a true blessing, a gift. Driving, going to the refrigerator at night, a hot shower, solitude, a quiet, comfortable bed, right? All of these things. And yeah, what a gift. What I promise you, like, the true freedom is letting go of the attachment that I have any control on what unfolds in front of me, right? And once I can let go of the idea that I am in any that I am the captain, look into my eyes, I am not the captain anymore, right? I am not the captain. And when I can give that over, and I don't care what you give it over to the group that you're surrounded, give it over to Buddha, to Allah, to God. I don't care what you call it. Just know that there is an infinite and eternal source that is just, it says in our underlying the totality of things. When I used to hear this stuff when I first came in, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here with that crazy talk. Now it's the very foundation that I stand on. I understand at a soul level, on a visceral level, to the very core of my being, that as long as I let go and surrender to this power, that everything in my life is going to work out exactly as it should be. I'm going to be surrounded with the exact individuals I'm meant to be around, and that I am not going to be okay. I am okay always. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Nate.
I'll be Caesar.
You guys be sounding the same.
We're basically the same person.
You guys are the same person, just in a different place.
Basically the same person.
Nate, you say you're locked up for 15 years. And, there's a lot of us that might not have been on the inside of a bars, right?
It doesn't matter.
Prison.
Yeah.
We're in our own prisons. That was that Creed song, My Own Prison. It's like, it's true, man. Like, we're in our own prisons of our minds.
Yeah. And that's
locked in there.
Yeah. And that's another revelation, Justin, that it didn't matter. Freedom is a state of mind. Being in prison is a state of mind. It didn't matter where I was at. I was in the same prison.
Yep.
Whether I was in an institution or I was at home on the streets, I was completely locked up in my mind. I was done.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter where you're at. Yeah.
You can find freedom in prison.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's truth. I'm going to read some comments, and then I'm going to let Mary Beth take us in on the next one, yo. Let's see. She got a bunch of fans up in here, bro. We got Mandy. I love you, Mary Beth Hill. There's a few other ones in here. I gotta get this one real quick because we all love Russell Pascoe. He loves us all, and he loves you too, Mary Beth. He don't know you, but he love you. Okay, he love you. We're whatever. Let's see. We got Jeremy says, I just released my first studio album on February 22nd. My album tells the story of my recovery journey. Check it out. It's titled 922 by Jeremy Pyle. I just celebrated 14 months clean. Congratulations to you yesterday. And I don't have to front you anything. Yesterday, 14 months. Congratulations, my friend. Let's see. James, what's up, James? Good to see you. He says, we can only keep what we have by giving it away. And that's some facts. Oh, we got Melissa. I haven't seen you in a while. I missed you in the comments. And never give up. Just keep going one day at a time. We got Lynn. Good to see you, Lynn. Hi, guys. Happy Sunday. Love you all. We got let's see. Oh, we got Mr. Ben, the
What
mayor
up,
of
Ben?
Ocala.
My man.
Yes. What's up, Ben? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. And that's it, man. So, Mary Beth, how are you? What's going on? What you got on this?
Listen, so Nathan really stole the words out of my mouth. Like that, your perspective is amazing. But I completely agree. You know, I spent 17 years of my life like saying yes to all the wrong things, right? Like yes to getting high, yes to selling drugs, yes to giving my soul away piece by piece. You know what I mean? I was no longer a person. You know, I was no longer a mother. I was simply like a shell of somebody that I used to be. And I remember whenever I found recovery, I never knew like what recovery was, right? Like whenever I got indicted, and I am one of these people who like I have nothing but love for the feds, right? Because they saved my life. But I remember I get into recovery and I never heard of like, 12-step fellowship or meetings or any of that stuff. And so I go to these meetings and they're like, keep coming back. It works if you work it, life on life terms. And I'm like, what the fuck does this stuff mean? You know what I mean? Like, what are you saying? But those are the mottos that I live my life by today, right? Like taking everything as it comes, I preach this to the clients at the treatment facility that I work at all the time. Like, if recovery was something that was easy, we would all have recovered. You know what I mean? There would have been no need for treatment facilities, for 12-step fellowships, for a higher power. None of that would have been necessary, right? If we could all just put it down and stop using, we would have did it a long time ago. It's an everyday maintenance. It's every single day of my life, like making sure that I'm taking care of the things that I need to take care of to make sure that I see another day clean and sober. And, for me, that's mind, body, and soul, saying yes to things that I never would have thought I would have said yes to, right? Like CrossFit, that was never on my radar. You know what I mean? But like making sure that my body is healthy, because the minute that I stop doing the things that got me clean is the minute that I need to start worrying about my next relapse. But something for me that I have to really, really stay vigilant at is always checking my motives. You know what I mean? Like, what is my motivation for everything that I'm saying yes to, right? Because let's keep it real. Like, we're addicts, we're self-seeking, right? We don't always stay in our will. Like, it sounds great to say, I need to stay in God's will or your higher power's will at all time. But a lot of the times I'm in my will. I'm all about managing and controlling whatever's around me. So I have to be diligent every day to like make sure that whatever my motive is for that reason of why I'm doing this, am I doing this because it's benefiting me? Am I doing this because I really want to help somebody? Or am I doing this to help me? Man, recovery is such a beautiful thing. I get to say yes to so many things today that never in my life, even as a mom in active addiction, that I think I was going to be able to say yes to. Like, I get to go to my kids' sporting events today. That's why I have no voice, right? So like my voice does not sound like this, but I get to be that mom who goes to these bowling events. And you would never think that bowling events go live like this, but I get to cheer for my kid and I get to watch them do the things that they love. And they get to have me there with them, and they want me there with them. And that, even at almost 7 years clean, still surprises me, because for so long, man, my kids were like, especially my oldest one, he was like, I didn't get invited to the things. I didn't get invited to the functions. And Friday, I got to go to his high school to share the message of recovery to a bunch of kids. Those are the things that I get to say yes to today. I get to be, that voice for the voiceless. You guys know this, man. The stigma around addiction is real. And each and every day I get to fight towards breaking that stigma to show the world that we can and we do recover, right? Like, it does not matter, what section of life you come from. If you come from the poverty, if you're coming from the upper nonchalant, if you're middle class America, right? It affects us all, Justin, you made a great point. Like, the most free I think I ever felt was when I was incarcerated. And that's crazy. And people are like, you were free while you were in prison? Yes, because that was the time in my life that not only did I get to bring the message of recovery to a bunch of women who had no idea what recovery was, we started a meeting inside that facility, and to watch the fellowship that happens, inside of those walls, like I never felt so free than I did in that moment. So for me today, man, saying yes is living. I get emotional saying that, right? Like I get to live today. And I have to constantly remind myself, like, we get frustrated. Life happens. We get busy. Those kids yell, they scream. Like literally, I'm in a closet right now because I had to go find some peace in my house, But I have to constantly remind myself, like on those moments, whenever I was in that prison and it was cold and I'm laying on that rack in that inch mat, I prayed for these days. I prayed for the problems that I have today, right? Like I prayed to be able to be that mother to my kids that I so wanted to be for so many years. I prayed to have these free world problems that I get to experience today, so that's what saying yes is for me.
Mary Beth, thank you so much. Like your perspective is just spot on. It's much needed and much appreciated. So thank you for saying yes to coming on here with us. Yeah. Oh man. Thank you so much. Let's see. I'm gonna read some comments, and then I'm gonna let Caesar share. Or do you want to go before, or you want to go after Caesar? I don't want you to go. I don't want you to feel less than and go last. You don't care.
I'm literally just making a meme of Nate. So
I knew it. This is what Caesar does.
It's a picture of him saying yes to life.
Oh my God. Oh gosh. Lord of mercy.
Whatever makes you comfortable, sir. If you'd like to go first, you're welcome to.
All right, I'll do that. Let's see. We have Rachel says, I needed to hear a lot of that, Nate. Thank you. Happy to be here. She also says, closed mouths don't get fed, but neither do closed minds. That's it right there, yo. We got Clean and Sober Nation. Great to hear a female perspective on the panel. Good job. We trying over here. We trying, trying. We definitely trying. We got 12 Step Studios. First time listener. Good stuff. Say yes to a new way to live. That's it. We have Gina says, if I'm not working on recovery, we are working on a relapse. Oof, there he is. We got Christina says, yes, if I just put 1/8 of my energy in my recovery that I would put into saying hi, I'm unstoppable. And I have evidence-based practices in my recovery on that right there. It's let's see, we got Ben says, Mary Beth stole the words back. Come on, recovery, let's go. Edie says, I went to college and got my CDL and drove a bus in prison. I got out feeling accomplished and proud. Oh, we got Phil Tyler in the house. What's up, Phil? Against the Odds Ministries. I can relate. I found freedom behind the walls, and no bars, no walls can contain the power of God. We have we got that's it. I'll just do that. We're good. We're gonna do save the rest. Save the best for last. So say yes to life. And there's some great stuff. Nate, you always have some great perspective. Mary Beth, thank you. Your perspective is I just love how these conversations come about. We come up with a topic and then we could just go with it, as long as we show up, whenever we're asked to do something, and as long as it's not too much, and we're saying yes to too much and get overwhelmed. I think that's something that like I have used. I'm a big believer in calendars because I will say yes to everything and then I will be overwhelmed with life. That's saying yes too much, right? And that's where like I have to understand that even it's I've been doing some work, right? They had vigilance and balance, right? We're always being vigilant and finding the balance with that. Everybody says it's a unicorn, which it is, right? It's a unicorn. Like it's never really actually handled. It's an ever changing, ever flowing, ever evolving process that we have to continue to do as we grow through this recovery. And as soon as we think we got it lick, Bam, there it is again, right? Like, what just happened? I just thought I had everything figured out. That was over there, this was there, and who put that up there? You know, it's like somebody rearranged your whole house and you didn't even know it, you know? That's exactly what it feels like when that balance gets out of whack, you know? And that's what it feels like for me, but I'm always staying vigilant and trying to maintain my balance. And I can make anything unhealthy real quick. You know, I'm really good at it. Working out, I can make unhealthy. Eating healthy, I can make unhealthy. I could do a hope shot. I can make real unhealthy. Nate knows. It's Caesar. And then my recovery, doing service work, helping people, giving rides. There's so many things. Oh, doing free charity work, right? I've gotten in some pickles doing that stuff sometimes, you know. I have to understand that what can I handle, you know, while saying yes to life, you know. And you know, throughout this process, you know, of this, I think I've kind of, my calendar helps me. My calendar helps me say yes to what I can. That's where I'm at right now. And I use that thing like it's going out of style, because if it doesn't go on there, for one thing, I forget about it. And then I get anxiety because I forgot about it. Right? Like, oh shit. And I get anxiety, and I hate that feeling of anxiety. And so I use it a lot. That way I'm not overdoing, I'm not underdoing, and I don't forget about stuff. It's very important. And then you know, in my recovery, I remember saying yes to the most unreal, insane things back in the day when I was getting high. I would say yes to anything that I would jump through firing hoops if I was dope sick and trying to get freaking some shit, right? I would jump through firing hoops trying to get that next fix every single time. Oh, you know, the dope man's 5 minutes away, and then he has you meet you somewhere else. That dude will have you chasing him around town, and you would say yes to all of it to get your fix. And it's like, what am I willing to do in this recovery process that I'm not willing to say yes to? Because I'd say yes to some dumb stuff back there, you know, say yes to, oh, I'll be the fall guy. I'll do some dumb shit. Yeah. Set me up, man. I would say yes to everything because, for one thing, I had self-worth issues. I would say yes to every little thing just so I could fit in and feel a part of something. And then most of the time it'd get me in trouble. You know what I mean? Or, you know, like when I was a juvenile, I said yes to so much stuff. I got grand theft autos as a juvenile, right? I never stole a car, but I said yes to driving it, and I said yes to staying in it, and I got busted for grand theft auto, you know, but I never stole the car. But there's so many things in my life that I look back on, and because of my self-worth, I'd say yes to all the wrong things and none of the right things, right? Like my parents. There was never yeses for them, you know? It was all no's. No, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. You know, and it's like, how come? Why? You know, why was that? Everything that was good for me, I would say no to, but everything yes, I would say yes to. Does that even make any sense? No, you know. So why the hell am I here saying no to the guy that's going to help me and save my ass? You know, what the hell? Hey, these 12 steps are going to help you and save your ass. Yeah, but I mean, I could do 3, but you know, I have a job, right? And that's legit an excuse. Okay. I can come up with so many excuses. So why not to say yes? Right. Something that's going to be healthy and good for me. I can find out as many excuses as I want, because you know why? Hard work isn't easy. Right. And that's hard to say yes to. You know, nobody really wants to read and write and put their feelings on a paper and freaking talk to somebody else about it and do this other stuff. Nobody wants to like get down thinking that I'm at fault. Nobody wants to admit that, but sometimes you got to. And in turn, you grow. And why not? You know, what are we doing here? You can become miserable up in this recovery process. I have living proof of that too. A miserable existence, relapse mode on fleek. Is that, do they still say that? Okay, good. Relapse mode on fleek, man. And like I was in relapse mode running the Hope Shot. I was on relapse mode doing all this stuff. I didn't relapse. Doesn't mean you have to relapse. Doesn't mean you have to use, but you can be in relapse mode, you know, and that's part of my story is like I didn't use, but I was in relapse mode because I was miserable and making everybody around me miserable too, you know. And instead of saying yes to life, saying yes to what my friends tell me, and I finally did. I surrendered again. Surrendered to the process, surrendered to life, surrendered to my higher power, surrendered to whatever it was, because I was just tired of being miserable. You know, when you get put in a position where you have to get to desperation, it's either going to surrender or you're going to stay there or you're going to use. And it's a bad place to be, but it's an opportunity to grow too. So actually, it's a good place to be. It just depends which way you want to go. You got a fork in the road. Which way you going to go? I took the freaking say yes. So that's what I got on that. Thanks, Caesar, for letting me go.
Yeah, Justin, I just want to say, I think it's a beautiful thing that you brought up too, especially about that. Just because you've been some years in recovery, I see the most people that have years and years in recovery go back out and never come back. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what we need. Like, it's easier to get complacent when your ass isn't on fire and there's, you know, you got the job, you got the family, you got all these responsibilities. You're like, well, you start to make concessions and compromise. Right. And it's like, it comes down to like, how free do I want to be today? Right. How free do I want to be? I saw something in the comments and I agree. Like, if I put just a percentage of how I got loaded into my recovery, I'll be fine. But I want to be more than fine, man. I want to live. I want to enjoy life to the fullest. I want to live these awakened dreams, right? So I'm trying to put everything in my heart, soul, and spirit into my recovery. Not a percentage, everything. Let me make that my number one priority, and let's see what God has in store for me. Mm-hmm. That's how I want to like focus on my recovery.
Yeah,
that's all.
All right, thanks, Nate.
Justin, check your text. By the way,
don't tell me what to do.
Saying.
I'm gonna say no to that.
Don't say no to life, bro.
That's a hell to the no, buddy.
No, but for real, check your.
Yeah. Caesar, read some comments while he's doing that.
Yeah, I can do that. Maybe. I don't know where we were. I can't do that.
I got it. I don't know what's going on. Oh, okay, I got it. I got it. Thank you. And
thank you.
There we go. I got it.
Just had to do that one day.
I will one day. Let's see. We let's see. Sorry. Okay, we got Steve says prison interrupted me long enough to hear what I needed to hear. I love going to prison today.
Amen.
And he means that in a good way.
He means that in a good way.
He's not bouncing back and forth in a bad way. We got Sober Now says, yeah, it's a balance and act faux show, Justin. It is. And we got Crystal that agrees with the calendar. Have to have my calendar. Let's see. Edie says, nothing could stand in my way getting what I wanted. I tried to keep the same mindset in my recovery. Exactly. Nothing. Absolutely. No matter what club, no matter what, we get it. The hope dealers. We got Michelle says, took a lot of hard learned lessons to understand what my dad meant when he said, you're the company you keep. Oh God, my dad used to say that. Show me your friends, I'll tell you who you are. I was like, what the fuck that mean? I get it now, right? Let's see. We got Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl, good to see you in the comments. Oh my God, I hear excuses all day long. I always tell people I sponsor that they have to be willing to go to any lengths to stay clean. Say yes to suggestions and don't ask why. But why? Yeah, Megan says, restarted my step 4 tonight since my relapse 5 months ago. I'm so ready to get this out. Keep going. That's the money ticket right there. Surrender to it. You know, lay it all down. We got Michelle says, insane. I live in Akron, Ohio, and had no idea that AA was when I was forced into sobriety. What AA was when I was forced into sobriety. It was a path I experienced alone and struggled a lot with, but here I am 12 years later going strong. That's right. Let me get some down here. You know what, Caesar, go ahead, man. I'm lost in the sauce and sometimes with these comments, but I want to hear you. We got 15.
Michelle Ramos. We just sat down with a whole group from Akron, Ohio. We sat down with just a dad from Akron and learned a little bit about him, and Renard Packard that has the Packard Institute over there. So we're connecting with your people in Akron, and it's actually very cool. So hopefully we'll be doing more things with them. So say yes to life. You guys are all going to be so shocked because my share is going to sound very similar to.
That's him.
Huh?
Kenny Lambert. That was the guy, the dad from
Yes,
Akron.
Kenny Lambert.
That's him.
He came, and it was pretty cool. They took a bike ride to the beach and ran into the meeting at Green Key this morning. They didn't know it was there. It just happened to hit it. And then he went over to the A Club and he shared there. So, I mean, just awesome people to meet. Like, I really feel blessed that I'm able to connect with people like that. But again, you'll be shocked that my share sounds a lot like Nate's because we're kind of like the same people. But I didn't say yes to anything, man. I was afraid of life. I didn't know that's what it was. But I couldn't face life on life's terms. I had to face life numb. That was the only way I knew how to do it because because I couldn't do it. You know, I found my solution in a bottle or in a needle or in a bag of powder, and I ran with that. And I said yes to all that because that was the only way I knew how to function. And I went to court-ordered meeting after court-ordered meeting, to court-ordered rehabs, to 12-step meetings in facilities and jails and all of those things. But I couldn't hear anything that was being said. Kind of like what Steve said, prison made him be able to hear the message, but I didn't hear the message until I ran out of excuses and shit that I could still hang my hat on. I had to lose everything. As long as I still had my businesses, for those of you who don't know me, I owned bars in the Tampa Bay area. So you couldn't really tell me shit, you know, like, hey, you can't drink anymore safely. The hell I can. I own bars. I have to drink. That's part of doing business. And they would tell me stuff like, you know, you won't be able to do it. You'll end up relapsing on your drug of choice. And I go, well, you're crazy, man. I'll prove you wrong. And time after time again, I proved them right. And what it was I didn't know what life without substances looked like. And I really, if I'm being honest, I didn't know if I could do life without substances. So you fast forward to my last rehab, I lost all of my businesses. My home was foreclosed on while I was locked up again. My daughter was born when I was in rehab. And then I went to jail because I instantly relapsed after I got out of rehab. And then I went to this one, and I was out of ideas and schemes and plans and ideas. I knew I wasn't going to outgrow it. I knew I wasn't going to outthink it. And I gave up to the idea that I've got to ask for help. And somebody came in and shared a message of hope. He didn't look anything like me. He had a lightness about him, kind of like a joy that I could not relate to. I was like, why is this guy smiling and laughing and happy? He has a tie on. He clearly has a job. He has a car. He drove here. He clearly has a license. These are things that I can't relate to. I hadn't had a license in like 10 years. So the first time in my life, I asked for help, and I didn't dictate what that help was going to look like. And that was my first step towards saying yes to actual real life. And I'm fortunate that this guy was patient and tolerant and kind, and he taught me how to do life sober. He took me through the work, but he also treated me as a friend. And I mean, I didn't know how to do anything. I'd owned my own businesses, but I paid people to do everything. I had accountants. I did this, I did that. I didn't do anything myself. And I had stunted all growth from like the time I was 12 until I was 37. So I was like emotionally a child. And I had no real work history and I didn't know how to do shit. And this guy walked me along this path, helped me open a bank account, encouraged me to get my license back, even when I was told I couldn't do that, that it wasn't even an option. And what he taught me, one little step at a time, is that it's possible. I can do hard things, or what I consider hard. I can face these things with faith, with fellowship, and little by little. Like, I'm not saying I said yes to the whole enchilada right at the beginning. I didn't get out of rehab and go, yes, life, I'm gonna take you on. Like, I got my ass kicked. I was on foot for like the first 6 months out of rehab. I helped a guy move and he gave me a bicycle. And a bicycle meant I could do more than 2 things in an entire day, because on foot over here in Pasco County, everything's pretty spread out. So like going to a meeting and go to probation and walking back home, that's like a 10-mile trip on foot. That's your day. You know, I'm going to hang out at the meeting as long as possible because it's a long ass walk home. And I was too proud to ask people for rides, which I got brought up on my awareness later on about that. Like, somebody saw me walking in the rain and they're like, what's wrong with you, man? You talk to everybody at these meetings, but you never ask for a ride. I'm like, oh, I don't want to bother anybody. And they're like, you're not bothering us. You're cheating us of an opportunity to be of service. And I had to look at it that way and go, okay, you know, and I didn't understand that at the time, but later on I understood, like, when you're trying to help somebody and they're too afraid to actually take the help. Hey, I'll pick you up. I know you just got out of rehab. I'll buy you lunch and we're going to go read. And like, no, I don't want you to buy me lunch, man, because we're programmed to believe that you're doing that for some other reason. Like, I'm going to owe you and I don't really want to owe you. And so these experiences with good people, with good motives, allowed me to trust a little bit more and let people into my life. The work that I did on the inside changed me enough for me to be able to face new experiences without numbing myself. The little steps that I took moving forward, the little accomplishments, the getting the license back, which was hard to do, getting a job, being reliable and responsible at that job and moving up. Those little steps, each one of them was proof that I can walk through something and come out the other side stronger. And then I can say yes to the next thing and grow a life and grow my own fellowship. And then I keep walking through these things. And at the beginning, it was, God gave me what I can handle. It wasn't a whole lot. I couldn't handle a whole lot. I was burnt out. I thought I was going to get a job right out of rehab. That was not in God's plan. I got laughed at a few places that I applied. I had no work history. I've owned my own business and I'm a college graduate. Hire me. Where have you worked for the past 10 years? Nowhere. I have no work history. I have nothing to put on this piece of paper. I've been incarcerated most of my life. So I couldn't get a job. But, you know, it doesn't matter what you face. If you stick to it and you get that evidence that you can walk through something and come out stronger, then I can share that with the next guy. And then I moved on, you know, one thing after another. Being able to speak in front of people, that was a freaking disaster. Like, I couldn't open my mouth up without like profusely sweating and shaking, but I did it enough times that I became comfortable. And I said yes over and over again. And anytime somebody asked me to be of service and speak, I say yes. I faced the death of both of my parents in early sobriety. And I was surrounded by people, and I could have easily just been like, this is just too much, you know, and turned the other direction. This guy told me, it's not about you, bro. Like, all you're saying is I and me and how it's affecting me. Why don't you go and see what you can do to make the situation better for the rest of your family. You know, the family that you stole from, and you stole their time and you stole their peace of mind, all those things. Why don't you go see what you can help them with? And it shifted my perspective. And it took me out of that fearful self of what about me, and it put me into service of what can I do to help my sister? What can I do to help my brother? How can I help this situation? And one of the hardest things I've had to walk through, but now I can share that with somebody. When they say, "Oh, well, I can't do recovery if," and you insert something there. I've been through so much shit that I don't care what you insert there. Yes, you can. You can walk through anything with a little bit of grace and some dignity and come out the other side stronger. That's what saying yes to life looks like to me, is not running from the things, not running from the opportunities, stepping outside of my comfort zone and doing something with a shaky voice and shaky legs, but doing it anyway, because it's not about me. It's about the people that my message could help. It's about improving my job to help my family. And doing these things builds me up over time. And I've said it a million times, and I'll say it a million more times. The only way you get good self-esteem is by doing esteemable acts. Your self-esteem doesn't get better if you're living a life of scumbaggery on the side and then just sharing some really awesome stuff at the meetings and then walking out of the meeting and 13-stepping and going and doing this and that. That's not how you get it. You get it by doing esteemable acts. We had a meeting this morning and we were talking about character defects and the fears that drive these things. You know, I'm fortunate today that I live most of the time in faith and not in fear. And those fear-based knee-jerk reactions are a lot less than they used to be. But I still get fearful. I still have to face things that are hard. You know, on this show, in the beginning, we read the clarity statement. And that's saying yes to life. I don't care what your recovery looks like. I don't care if you walk in the door and you need to be on MAT. I don't care if you walk in the door and you run straight with faith-based. I don't care what you do, as long as you're improving your life and you're walking towards something better, whatever that looks like for you. Because I was allowed that space. I was allowed those options. I chose the path that I chose, but you're saying yes to life and saying yes to recovery does not have to look like anybody's on this screen. But what you do have to do is get outside of yourself, build a tribe. I don't know any other way to put that. You build the people that you connect with, which I'm blessed to be able to choose the people. How many years, Nathan? I didn't get to choose. You didn't get to choose. So we got locked up with who we got locked up with. That's all that was. I have the freedom of choice today to choose who I want to spend my time with, who I want to be in my inner circle, who I want to be my advisors. And those are the most important people in my life, because my God works through people. And I have to have people in my life to have his message come through them. So every morning I wake up, I get into gratitude, I get into prayer, because once I walk out the door, if I'm not armed with some spiritual tools and some things, I'm going to say no to life. It comes at you fast and hard. And the longer you've been around, the more important it is to remember how we need to stay teachable. We don't know it all. We have to be able to take suggestions forever. Like I have to be accountable forever. I can never think that I've got this thing or I'm going to get God. And I know we're getting 1 minute away, and I see Justin getting antsy and he's doing one of these things. He doesn't want me to go on too much longer, but saying yes to life is saying yes to your recovery and choosing to live. And that's the short version of this. Saying no is choosing death these days. So that's all I've got.
Thanks, Caesar. I'm not cutting you off. Just letting you know, you can keep going if you want. I don't care.
Okay, part two.
Part two. I'm just kidding. Part two next Sunday. You have to join. You know,
I have
what I mean?
a 30-minute dissertation on say yes to life. Just hold on one second there, buddy.
No. Oh man, this is such a great topic. I think we can talk about this forever. And it's something we have to be reminded of. That's why these topics are so important. Just as much as the stories are important, the topics are important. That way we can remind ourselves. Because I can forget. Right, I have a built-in forgetter sometimes that. Going through the mundanes of life and trying to get this and do that, take care of kids and blah, 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 blah. Life is fast. We can forget sometimes what got us here, what gave us this life, what gave me this life I have. Question for all: how do I lead a loved one, little brother, to sobriety? I get it's his choice, but what can I do as an older brother to help him?
Nate.
Yeah. I mean, there's all the comments, I think Anna said it best, lead by example.
Wait, I have a perfect example.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Justin has
my little sister.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Damn, Caesar just passed right over me, bro. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I want to give you the backstory.
You paused though, Justin. You did pause.
Because I had to take a second.
Listen, the person who wrote the comments, not a person in recovery. Also.
Okay.
That's the difference. How does he steer somebody towards something better, even though he knows that it's that person's choice? And
yeah, I was just, like everybody said what they said, but I educate yourself. Go to Al-Anon, go to Nar-Anon, whatever, and let them guide you. And they'll give you all the tools you need to be a great example and to do what's best for him. Because anybody could sit here and tell you but it's your situation. Go to some groups that people have been doing this for years, and they can really walk you through that.
Well, I can say this guy's already a really good role model. So he,
I guess you know him.
I know this person. You just love your brother, but set boundaries. That's the best way that I can put that. Don't enable him, but let him know that he's loved and you're there to help him. And that help is going to be rides to meetings or whatever it is. It's going to be healthy help, and it's not going to be financial help. That's the best way that I can put that.
Yeah. And I feel like then as long as you don't enable the person and help them along their way, a healthy boundaries and showing them love when they don't feel lovable. I think my dad, one thing he did was he didn't give me what I wanted. He didn't give me what I wanted. What do I want? I want money, so I can keep going. Or, he cut me off, and that's the best thing he did. I'm doing what I can. It breaks my heart. He lives a few states away, but it's a revolving door of jail, rehab, my parents bailing him out financially, raising his kid. I wish I was there more. I wish I was more. I wish there was more I could do.
You can have a conversation with your parents and maybe get them to go to one of these Al-Anon or Nar-Anon meetings so they can see how their financial help is actually hurting him. Because that was one of the things my parents were very willing to do, was bail me out of situations. And it kept me sick a lot longer and kept me from hitting that point of running out of ideas and schemes. Like if you've always got that safety net there, why do you really want to get sober? Or why do you really want to get clean? You're like, well, I know I'm going to get arrested, but I know my parents will bail me out again. The safety net has to be gone. In my experience, I can't speak for everybody. And I had to learn my own way that the hole just keeps getting deeper, and at one point I could see light. And by the time I asked for help, I was so deep in that I was afraid that nobody would be able to reach me. But that was what it took for me to go, please pull me out of this damn hole.
Enabling not enabling, but helping somebody, we're saying, you're saying yes to life, but then we're saying sometimes you have to say no to the person, that you're enabling.
Well, that is saying yes to life.
Saying yes.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
And it's like, but we have to let them hit the rock bottom. we're robbing them of letting them hit the rock bottom and getting that gift, the gift of desperation that they truly need in order to actually get somewhere. You know, Mary Beth, you got something on it?
I mean, that was my scenario. That was my situation. You know, my parents literally, they enabled me by taking my kids. I was grateful for that. But when they took them, they took them. You know what I mean? And I had to feel that. Like I had to reach that bottom that was sufficient enough for me to recover. And there was nobody that could help me with that until I was ready. You know, that's the one thing about recovery. I tell everybody, we don't get clean for our kids. We don't get clean for our parents. We don't get clean for the job or the house. We get clean because we're so sick and tired of being sick and tired within ourselves. And that's why we get clean, you know. But I definitely agree. Get to Nar-Anon, Al-Anon, and get your resources and stop the enabling. You know, you enable the addict, you bury the addict. And that's the severity of it today.
Yeah. And if it comes down to it, sometimes a soft intervention. I mean, Nate does that all the time. Not all the time, but sometimes. Sometimes it takes, you know, loved ones, you know, putting it down on paper and just sitting with them and with a loving, open heart and just reasoning with them, you know. Maybe sometimes they can't even see their own bullshit, you know.
Right.
I couldn't see my own shit, you know, and everybody knew except for me. That's what it came down to. Everybody knew except for me. And, you know, so man, great topic tonight. Thank you guys for being in the comments and sharing and commenting and engaging. And it's always such a great time. I love being here on Sundays, man. Thank you so much, Mary Beth, for being here. Again, her podcast, her story is coming out in the next couple of weeks. I can't give you for sure. I'm a juggler of multiple things. But next couple of weeks, I'm going to have it at least by next week. I think I'll have it on Apple Podcasts or at Google, pretty much anywhere. Just follow us, subscribe, whatever you need to do. You'll hear her story, and I'll definitely have it on the page when it comes out. So man, hey, I hope you guys have a great week. And I love y'all, and we'll see you next Sunday. Peace.
Bye.
Come on, do it. Where's you at?
Mine
I forget.